of Driving Performance. I'm your host, Tom Shea, the co-founder of Agile Media Group. Today, I am joined by Paul Vogue, the co-founder and CEO of Bora, a sparkling water made from herbs, fruits, and flowers for earthly tastes and heavenly feelings. Wow, ChatGPT sort of went off on that one. But Bora is known for its zany flavors like cactus rose and lavender cucumber, sold at over 7,000 retailers, Amazon D2C. Paul, welcome to Driving Performance.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Yeah, it's the last Expo East too. You have
Last
any
Expo East.
memories?
I do. We have done very well at this show.
Yeah.
I would say we've gotten 2 of our 3 biggest retailers at this show in the last 2 years.
Damn.
It's way less crowded than Expo West, of course, by nature.
Right.
So like buyers stop and talk to you.
Totally.
So I'm sad about that.
Yeah.
I have to ask, we are on the 2nd floor.
Yeah.
This looks like an 18-wheel truck. How is this here?
Yeah. So there's a pretty, I'll say, fucked story there.
Okay.
So first off, there's a ramp. So like, there wasn't like a lift or anything. We were able to drive it on. But we sort of just hit like every snag that was humanly possible. First, we get the truck here. And they say you can only have less than a quarter tank of gas in the truck.
Why?
Liability concern.
For fire?
Yeah. It's like if something were to happen, sort of mitigates it. I don't know. Something.
You still have a quarter tank though. It's not empty.
Anyway, this is union rules. This is not whatever. So I start doing the math on the miles per gallon of the truck and how many gallons are in there. It's a 70-gallon tank. That's going to take 6.5 hours to burn off. So now I'm at AutoZone with a siphon pumping out diesel fuel.
But you drove this truck here.
Yeah.
You did?
I did, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Dude, come on. I spent the first 2 years of Agile.
That's
just,
amazing.
Driving these things around.
Okay, that's
to make
amazing.
it happen. But yeah, long story short, had to pump out a bunch of diesel fuel. Got here, had to figure out how to dispose of diesel fuel because it's a biohazard.
Right.
It's not easy to pull that off. And then
We have some plant-based meats that could use a little.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. And then we had to figure out how to get a union-approved ramp at about 9:30 p.m. last night. So it came together pretty nice.
Okay, it looks great.
But yeah, we're here. So
Big congrats.
thank you.
Love that.
never
I
a
thought
dull
setting
moment.
up a booth was hard, but yeah.
Appreciate it. All right, so why don't we dive in? As we are in a truck, there's going to be a few stops along this route. We're going to stop 1 is going to be founder story, origin story, really just like the inflection moments, pivotal moments, nature versus nurture that got you sort of where you are today on your entrepreneurial journey. Second stop will be questions about Bora specifically, where it is, where it's been, where it is, where it's going. And then stop 3, we'll wrap up with a game we call the Hot Box, a this or that style question that's modeled off of the hot seat. And then we'll wrap. Sound good?
Sounds good. I'm ready to play.
All right, let's do it. So why don't we go back to, I don't know, where do we want to start? Venture career? You want to start there?
Sure. Yeah, we can start
Let's
just
rip that.
before this.
Yeah.
I grew up in a home. I'm going way back.
All right, fine.
Yeah.
I'm down. Go.
Okay, good. I grew up in a home that didn't drink soda, so I drank a lot of sparkling water. I'm the
Okay.
youngest of 5 siblings in 7 years. So imagine like
Yeah,
5
I'm 24.
5 pretentious kids holding Perrier or LaCroix or San Pellegrino. You're like, kids are normally holding Coke or Mountain Dew,
Right.
whatever. And then as an adult, my first couple of jobs after college had that fully stocked fridge.
Right.
We had Kettle potato chips, Justin's peanut butter, Van Leeuwen's ice cream, RX bar, all these disruptive, distinctive Whole
Right.
Foods brands. And it felt odd to me that everyone I worked with, the thing that was consumed the most was LaCroix, and the
Right.
thing that was enjoyed the least was LaCroix.
Right.
So that was the big insight. Obviously, it was an investment firm, not at all related to consumer, but
What was it related to?
we were buying unsexy, cash flowing businesses,
Okay.
like real businesses.
And like truck side advertising?
Exactly right. They have like net income.
Yeah.
And
EBITDA?
they do distributions.
Love it. And
That
was the venture career, was that right out of school?
was no, that was in between. I worked at right out of school. I actually lived in a truck,
Okay.
smaller
that.
than this one. We sold T-shirts on college campuses. That was my
No
first
way.
adult's job.
What was it called?
We called it Bangarang.
Bangarang.
So, yeah. I drove
Like
around.
the Skrillex song?
Unfortunately, yes. I'd buy these vintage shirts at rag houses around
Okay.
the country, and I'd sift through, and you're buying by the pound,
Right.
and they're always like 3 hours outside of a major metro area.
Yeah.
It's kind of the last stop that clothing and textiles go to before they go overseas.
Right.
And it's kind of like you have an appointment, 3 hours, sift whatever you can. You have to pay us at least X. So there's a lot
Okay.
of pressure,
Got
and
it.
you're in this hot industrial
Man,
room.
that's
Yeah.
wild.
And then clean them, spot check them, merchandise them online, and drive to college campuses and sell them.
Okay.
So like
Which part of the country are we in when you're doing this?
All over.
All
I went to
over?
40 states.
40 states. Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty sick.
It was really fun.
Experience.
It was a really life experience.
Damn,
Yes.
how fun. Okay, so you did that.
Did that. Yep. Then I worked at a tech company called Gusto.
Oh.
You probably use them for your payroll.
Yeah, use them
Yep.
right now.
And then
Now I know why you had the stock fridge.
There you
Like
go.
From Silicon Valley.
That's
tech
exactly right.
Stuff.
Very, very stocked fridge. And then the investment firm, and then Bora.
Nice. Okay. And so let's talk about starting it with your wife. Were you guys married at the time you guys started it?
We were.
Okay.
Yes, thankfully.
Yeah. And so I guess I have questions on what that's been like, but now let's talk about the actual formulation, the iteration. I think what I don't like, some people are like, yeah, we started, and then like now we're in thousands of stores. I'm really trying to get like that middle part because I think the people, that's what's relatable. That's what people are trying to tune in and learn about.
So yeah, I'll give you a little beginning and then go to middle.
Okay.
Beginning was kind of what I just referenced of like, is there a craft version of this?
Right.
Can we do what those other brands did in their distinctive, often commoditized categories and do it in sparkling water? Like Sam Adams did the beer, we'd like to do the sparkling water.
Right.
I've got 100 of these. I can do this all day. Well, Blank did the blank, we want to do the sparkling water. We formulated it at home. I found a small co-man. I got so lucky that I happened to live near Boulder, Colorado, which is a little like if you wanted to be a stuntman, you happen to live in West Hollywood. Like, and you're like, everyone I went there was a director, a producer, a studio exec. Boulder's kind of the same thing for CPG. I didn't know that till later because I wasn't that smart. Co-man, guys that sell cans, Hanes Celestial, Justin's Peanut Butter, all these massive natural products started in Boulder and still today. So anyway, that was the beginning. The first big retailer was Whole Foods. So we got into Whole Foods Whole Foods in the Rockies. At that point, we moved to Northern California because my wife, Maddie, got a job out there. And she was still paying the rent, obviously, and did for several years while I was working on this. So that was the beginning. And then the middle is great. A couple of stores like our product. How do we make more product? Keep innovative flavors happening and scale this thing.
Yeah. And how did you, I think I get the move into craft. Actually, I have a one-on-one question.
Yeah.
How do you think about, or how are they categorized differently? Water, sparkling water, seltzer.
I'm so glad you asked that. And you're from the Northeast.
Yeah.
Okay. I grew up in New York. In the Northeast, seltzer, or in Massachusetts, seltzer, is the way we call sparkling water.
Right.
I have a huge bone to pick. In the last 5 or 6 years, alcoholic sparkling waters, White Claw, High Noon, pick your brand, have taken the word seltzer. And they started with hard seltzer. And now, in California at least, seltzer means alcoholic sparkling water.
Right.
And I'm
where
like,
do you get it when you're going out to grab drinks, you're going to grab seltzers.
Exactly. And I'm so disturbed by that.
Yeah.
I was like, no, you're not grabbing seltzers. You're going to a liquor store and you're grabbing alcoholic seltzer. You're grabbing hard seltzers.
Right.
And I haven't seen that happen. We still call lemonade, and Mike's Hard has done a great job. Like, let's just keep that first word there.
So our sparkling water and seltzer actually function the same thing?
In the United States, they're the same thing.
Okay.
In Europe, there's a little bone to pick because seltzer is artificial sparkling water. So most people don't know this. There are springs in the world where sparkling water comes out of the ground sparkling.
Really?
You could go like this and it's carbonated. 100%. So like Topo Chico is a really well-known actual mineral sparkling water. So you see mineral sparkling water. It's coming up through the ground. It picks up minerals on its way and it's carbonated. Perrier and San Pellegrino, you can look this up, had a massive disagreement because in order to make their line more efficient, they started fracking before the water got carbonated by the CO2 in the earth.
Interesting.
So they can move the water faster.
Right.
And then they'd use the same CO2 to mix it. I don't remember who sued the other.
Whoa.
But one of them sued the other saying, whoa, this is not a sparkling water anymore.
Right.
You mixed it above ground.
Right.
That's seltzer.
You can't use mineral in the word either. Probably.
So in the US, we use it the same way. I bet Canada uses it the same way. But elsewhere, there's a distinctive difference.
Okay. Sorry. I just needed to know the answer to that.
Yes,
so I'm glad we went down that path.
Of course.
How did you arrive at sort of like the brand aesthetic, the, drink weird water? Is that something that was research and science, just like a gut feel, what you wanted to build? How'd you sort of land there?
Yeah, I got very lucky. So my co-founder and wife, Maddie, has been a brand.
She's so fucking good.
Yeah, a creative forever, has always been very creative, but professionally has been a creative at a number of software companies and now Bora. So the only thing I can kind of hang my hat on with regard to our brand is the name. Everything else, 90.
All right, well, give me the name?
90%. Okay, fine. Thank you. Wow.
Got you. Sorry, Maddie.
Yeah.
Gonna be on the next season.
Our idea was, okay, aura kind of means a little bit of something.
Right.
When someone has an aura of X, it's also a very hippie-ish word.
Right.
We're using some herbal ingredients. And then finally, Aurora Borealis is somewhere in the back of your head.
Right.
You know it means something, but you don't really know what. So we felt like, okay, Aurora Bora is nice. It rhymes. 2 4-letter words make a nice square. Maddie really liked that part of a square logo. And then her idea was, hey, could we pull people into this surreal world where coconuts are the sides of Escalades and straw, you know,
I love the
crocodiles live in
random
watermelon houses.
mood board posts of just like random spicy memes. They're so good.
Yes.
All right. Before we get to the next stop, want to talk about Shark Tank.
Let's do it.
So how did that come together? I think there's, you know, a lot of brands actually exhibiting today have gone through that experience. I think everyone's always curious about demystifying it. I've heard it's sort of like a weird process. They film it like hours, right?
Yep.
And then they cut it down and stuff. All right. So what was the experience like?
Yeah, we were out there for 48 minutes.
Okay.
And if you asked me to bet when I got off the stage, how long was I out there? I would have told you 7.
7 minutes?
I felt I was drugged.
Okay.
Like, there's no way I was out there for 45 minutes. It felt too short. But they take the 48 minutes and, you know, edit it down to 6 or 7. For us, it was during COVID. So obviously we launched in November 2019, March of 2020, the world shuts down. April of 2020, I'm cold calling grocery stores because I can no longer go in and sell. And I get a random email. Yeah, it was. I get a random email from a guy that's claiming to be a casting director at Shark Tank.
Spam?
And I just thought spam. Exactly. I actually thought, oh, it's a friend that's got a lot of time on his hands because of COVID, just messing with me. And he knows I just launched this beverage. So I literally wrote him back in an email like, yeah, right.
Yeah.
And my email signature was in my response. He called my cell. I saw a call from LA. I was like, okay. And he goes, no, this is really a casting director from Shark Tank. I just bought your can at this grocery store in Southern California. I'd love to talk. So that was the beginning. And so most Shark Tank brands, you know, apply, whatever. They get tens of thousands of applications. But then they have these guest sharks on, and they want the guest shark to know the industry that the brands are on.
Okay.
So that was the first year that Daniel Levitsky, the founder of Kind Bar, was going on. I didn't know that at the time. They just kept saying, we have a very well-known CPG operator coming on as a guest shark. I'm looking for innovative CPG concepts.
I wonder which one. And okay, they probably got the guest and then found the brands. But I wonder if he was just like, yo, I want these like 5. I'm trying to invest in these 5 brands. Like get them.
That'd be awesome.
Show.
I wish.
Nice. And so how did it end? So you got.
So that's April. All that summer, going back and forth with him, and then a couple of producers who they want. It's you know, it's a show. It's like The Bachelor. Bachelor's not really about dating. It's about TV. And if a couple of marriages and children come from it, great. Same thing as Shark Tank. It's not really about business. You do this film, or you do the filming, and hopefully you get a deal. And if you do, then yes, it can be a huge game changer to your business.
Even if it's not, you get good content.
Correct. It was amazing content. It was so much fun.
That ad strategy.
Yes.
On repeat by everyone.
Yes.
Sarah, who the founder of Curie, her experience was like they called her like 45 minutes.
I loved that. I watched that episode.
Insane.
She's
like, yeah, I was hiking and like, yeah, I'll just cruise and pull this together.
And it worked for her brand so beautifully.
Totally.
I was sweaty, but I don't smell bad.
I don't smell at all.
It's great.
And then how has he been as an investor since? Are you guys still that close?
I signed a lot of forms saying that I can't discuss that.
Okay, that's fair.
But it's season 12, episode 11, and that is the extent that I can talk about.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I know we had issues putting the Shark Tank logos on the trucks because of all their IP and stuff. So
they've got a big staff of lawyers.
Yeah, not exactly surprised. All right, so stop 2. Let's talk about where Aurora Bora is today. And I want to start with sort of like the community aspects, the LTOs. I think it's something that's so fascinating about your brand. I have, what was the Thanksgiving one? The
green bean casserole.
I think I might still have one of those flying around. So tell us about that strategy.
Of course.
And the reason for going down that path and continuing as you're still doing it.
Anytime you make an innovative product, the negative, if your differentiation is innovation, which in our case means different flavors, different ingredients, eventually people will get tired of your flavors. Like, they're only different for so long. They're different from what?
Right.
Like when we started, I had this sell sheet that said, no boring citrus flavors, because we're different from the normal flavors from LaCroix or Waterloo or Polar, et cetera. And then
I like that.
Now, a couple of years later, we need to be different from ourselves. Right. So that was the idea. And we also have this other problem that every good brand that starts in stores or online has eventually of, as you get into more stores, it's hard to sell online.
Right.
Which is a good problem to have. I would rather have people buy it from a store. So for us, we felt like, okay, well, we're going to sell these core SKUs in stores. We want to keep innovating. What if every month we come out with a limited time offering, sell it for a month, move on to the next one? So This
let's
is
see these ones.
This is September. Peach honeysuckle.
Peach honeysuckle.
And then this is October. Little spooky Halloween season.
Spooky season. What do we got?
Honey pumpkin.
Honey pumpkin.
So it's proudly not pumpkin spice. It's actually pumpkin.
Right.
Yeah.
No boring flavors. Come on, we already talked about
No
that.
boring flavors.
Nice. How many LTOs have you done since inception?
We have done 20.
And have any graduated to become core SKUs? Okay, which ones?
So this is, again, a foot in mouth moment. First sell sheet, no boring citrus flavors. First 3 LTOs, ginger Meyer lemon, grapefruit elderflower, lime cardamom. All 3 retailers, we need those.
Yeah.
So they graduated.
Well, they're anchored on,
correct.
What's worked in the past. That Ben from Tomorrow Farms was on earlier, and he's got a essentially food ag tech that's like never been seen before. So like there's no proxy for, oh yeah, look, this SKU works well. Like we're trying to break into this. Like, no, we just like never seen this product. Sort of an interesting challenge to have.
Totally.
You sort of have like a new LTO, which with Graza,
Yes.
who's on season 1.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Of course. Andrew and Alan are awesome. Graza is an amazing olive oil if you haven't tried it. They have a sizzle that you cook with, a drizzle that you finish with. And they've just taken the world by storm. They've done an amazing job. I have been a huge fan of their brand and of the 2 of them since they launched.
Yeah.
I think it might be the most cohesive launch I've seen of a product in a long time. I think most people, me included, get so much wrong in the first 6 months. And those guys, it felt like, made no missteps and still haven't.
I mean, the product's so poppy too. Like if you look at what that category had previously, it was just like aluminum, muted green, like sort of like stands out in and of itself.
And every friend I have that prides themselves on their cooking has Graza on their counter, 100%. So anyway, the idea was Andrew's. He said, hey, what if we made a lightly sparkling olive oil martini, non-alcoholic? I thought it was kind of a crazy idea. Andrew's got a lot of crazy, great ideas.
Yeah.
And then we talked about it. And then this summer decided, let's do it. Let's do it in September. Let's release it before Expo East, have some fun.
Yeah.
And it worked.
I can't wait to try it.
Yeah. I had a can for you. And I want you to know that Alan himself took it.
Yeah. Got a bone to pick with Alan.
Yeah.
He's never being invited back. How, like, operationally do you pull that off? So, like, is there, I think, I love this strategy, right? I think of my marketing and, like, trying to reach people, there's, like, the mass low percentage shot, and then there's, like, the very personalized high percentage shot.
Right.
And I think as I think about the strategy, you have this community that obviously are, like, loyalists where you can continue to play around in that arena and, give them something exciting. And the nice fortuitous feedback loop is it can potentially change the business for the masses.
I hope so. Yeah.
How do you actually pull off LTOs for, like, is that a function of who you're working with specifically, or other brands executing against this, like MOQs and stuff?
It's extremely challenging.
Right.
Yeah,
can't be easy.
I don't know any other like non-restaurant brand that does a monthly flavor.
Right.
I think like wine clubs are kind of like that, but even then it's just different actual brands. It's already out there.
It's not being made.
Yes. So yeah, there was a time we're since kind of doing quarterly production runs.
Yeah.
There was a time where not only we released the flavor in that month, sometimes we ran the flavor 48 hours before we sold it. So it is extremely operationally challenging. Our largest investor is coincidentally an operations firm.
Okay.
So that helps, having strong operators. And I think we kind of now know our consumer really intimately well. So we're constantly asking for flavor feedback. So it feels good to know, like, okay, even if we make a flavor people don't love, that's okay. There's somewhere we can sell it and move on to the next one.
Yeah. How many stores are you in today?
We're in 7,500.
What are some of those stores?
We are in Sprouts, we're in Publix, we're in Wegmans, we're in Fresh Time in the Midwest. We're in the Rocky and Pacific Northwest regions of Whole Foods. We're in a number of independent stores. If you're a New Yorker watching this, we're in West Side Market. We're in DeChico and Sons, Citarella. Yeah.
How do you think about the business now and where it's going? So obviously COVID, baby, as is Agile.
Yeah.
Like we were all sort of forced online. Bad time to start
Well, that's how we met. If not for the internet, who knows? We might not have met.
Exactly. 100%. But now, like 7,500 doors, that's massive. So how do you think about balancing competing priorities, knowing that you can't just stop doing D2C or online because the community elements there? So how do you juggle it all?
Yeah, it does become kind of two distinctive businesses. There is a retail sparkling water business where we are executing off shelves. We're doing price promotions. We're selling multi-packs more and more, which is a great, for us, easier way to sell. And then there's an online business where we're watching LTV and marketing to consumers and designing funny emails. And the two more and more interact with one another, but they have very different priorities and very different goals.
Right.
Hopefully they have a nice marriage and it nets out a beautiful, profitable and exciting business. But for now, it is a juggling act for sure.
How do you think about trade spend? I feel like it's so important to businesses that go retail, but not that many people talk about the strategy or how to manage it. So can you riff on that?
100%. Trade spend is like something people say, but then you'll actually meet trade spend experts and you realize like, okay, you can go really deep down this rabbit hole.
Right.
And it totally depends on your category and your product. I'll say sparkling water, like I mentioned, like there's a reason it's so competitive. It's competitive because all these brands are knockoffs of one another at the lowest price point. LaCroix and private label are generally the same price. Waterloo's usually the same price as LaCroix. And they're promoting against one another throughout the year. And every time you see that discount in the store as a consumer, you think, oh, the retailer is giving me a discount. No, the brand's giving you a discount. The retailer will never have their margin be touched.
Right.
They'll give you a point, but never more than that. So for us, we need to figure out what is the best way of introducing new consumers to the product that wouldn't buy it otherwise with a tag. And if that tag, in our case, we often do 2 for $3. So it's either 1 for $2, 7 or 8 months a year, and 4 or 5 months a year, you can buy 2 of them for $3.
Right.
Compresses the price. For us, we love that because we have differentiated flavors, so you can buy 2 different flavors. But that's trade spend. We are paying for that on the back end, and it's a very, very high trade category. I think GT's kombucha was famous for years of like no trade spend. And kombucha is so competitive. That's really, really impossible for you to imagine. Yes. It just shows what amazing big brand they've built. So for us, our trade is very high.
So that's your specific strategy. What other like options are available to people in terms of how they can execute against those things?
I'd say more and more operators are realizing that every chain shouldn't have the same strategy. So there will be chains where you'll lose money because you're giving away so much trade. There are other chains where you can actually be contribution margin positive and you're not doing as much trade. Some of that depends on the geography, the demographics, what is the basket ring of those retailers. So for us, I'd say, we have a great advisor and investor named Pat who loves to say,
shout out Pat.
Yeah, shout out Pat Muldoon. Every single account is either a growth account or a profit account. There's no in between.
Got it.
And the worst operators are in this gray area where they're giving away too much on what should be a profit account or not giving away enough on what should be a growth account.
Makes sense.
So at the end of every year right now, we're in these conversations. We're picking on a board. This is a profit account next year. This is a growth account. One of the two boxes. Yeah.
How I'm gonna cut it up. I have an additional trade spend question. Okay, here's the question. So for trade spend, do the retailers have a perception or like care about the trade spend? So are they looking
100%.
at this? Are they looking at this like, hey, they're doing too much? They're not doing enough? Like, because are they not really making margin? Like, you talk about it a lot. Single profit margin businesses that are never really going to give up anything. So, I don't know.
When you launch in a new store, or I'll go back actually, when you're having a conversation with a retailer in the hopes of launching in that store, like not only I'd say this sales cycle changes. So you're an early brand, maybe you're talking to Whole Foods or Sprouts or Thrive Market, and it's all product based. It tastes good, it's differentiated, maybe it's functional, maybe there's a unique ingredient. Buy our product. Great, you launch in those stores. Second phase, now it is, hey, we're selling well in these early stores. Look how well we're selling. We could sell well in your store. Great. Okay, third phase selling, and I'm learning this, so I'm no expert, is I'm not so much selling a product as much as I'm selling a program. And that's a totally different sale. And now the program is, hey, on these months of the year, here's exactly our trade spend. Here's how many points you're going to make. And over the course of the year, here's how many dollars you're going to make from that's a 3-inch can, from my 3 inches, etc. So
that's so fascinating.
Yeah. And for me, to your question, yes, the big conventional giant retailers that we all know the names of, they know exactly what you're spending in trade. They know exactly how many dollars. Maybe they want you to do a BOGO or buy through an ad or pay through an end cap or do their in-store shopper marketing on their app. They know exactly what you're spending, and they're balancing all the above. They're still balancing price. They're still balancing taste. They're still balancing ingredients and performance. They're also balancing, hey, is this going to be a profit generator for me? Is this adding diversity to the set? Is this going to be a margin play?
Oh, I'm glad I asked that question. All right, switching gears a little bit. What's it like working with family? We had a Nook on the pod. We've had a lot of the Amsam sisters were on the platform.
Yeah.
So tell us what, I think people are of different minds, right?
Sure.
So what's your experience been like?
Yeah, so I launched this company and this product and this business with my wife, Maddie, who for the first I guess exactly 2 years, she had no, that's not right. For 3 years, she had a separate job
Right.
that was paying our rent, which was great. Couldn't have done it without
Shout
her.
out Maddie.
Shout out Maddie, yeah. In addition to paying our rent, like after hours and sometimes during work, I was texting and emailing and just bothering her with requests. I would say the two of us feel like it's been very challenging working with one another. And I think the only thing that would have been more challenging is not working, i.e. me doing this business alone and her not knowing what's going on
The empathy.
is the only thing that would have been more challenging.
Right.
And I think these businesses from the outside, you just think, how hard can it be? Just put the water on the shelf, people buy it, whatever. Unless you're in it, you realize, oh my gosh, like this is so fun and the packaging is colorful. It's hard to imagine this is stressful.
Right.
But I can
It is
show you the
fun.
stats to say I've never slept less in my entire life than I have in the last 4 years.
Dude, you gotta just add some adaptogenics.
Yeah. I promise you, it's not chemical. There's no Dramamine in the world that's gonna help. Yeah.
Okay. What is a piece of advice you would have given to yourself early on, or folks who are tuning in that are aspiring to launch their own company?
If it's a food or beverage product, I think this is yes,
No.
don't. It's a food or beverage product, and you're extraordinarily wealthy, and you can get to $40 million valuation on your own money. Have at it.
Right.
If not, it might be challenging right now. No, I think my actual advice would be: if you're distributing a product via retail, pick a set of really important stores and like get a sleeping bag and live in those stores and just sell well in that one store, that one region.
Right. And why is that? Is that because it's just a ladder game of
Totally. Yeah.
it snowballs?
It's very counterintuitive to think. I'll use real numbers. Is it better to be in 1,000 stores moving 3 cans per SKU per store per week, or to be in 100 stores moving 10? Well, intuitively, I'm like, okay, 1,000 times 3 units per SKU per store per week. Let's pretend it's 3 SKUs. So, okay, I'm moving 9 cans a week, 1,000 stores, 9,000 times 50 weeks, whatever. I'm moving 450,000 cans. That's a better business. Well, if I'm in 100 stores with 3 SKUs, moving 10 cans a week, I'm going to try my math here that's fewer cans. Let me actually do it so I can feel good about that.
Go for
I
it.
think that's a third as many cans.
Okay.
50 times 3
I'm not
times
gonna check
10,
you on
30. Okay, good.
We'll do it in post-production.
Thank God. Whatever. That might be a third of a smaller business in terms of revenue.
Right.
You can actually package the data of the smaller set of stores way better.
Flip it.
People say, oh my gosh, look at the velocity. If they can
I
do
know.
this in Los Angeles or San Francisco or New York, imagine what they do when we copy and paste it.
The nationwide retail launches are sometimes so vanity, where it's just
so
like,
vanity. It's
you're
so challenging.
You're screwed.
And you need a lot of money.
Right.
I would say with beverage, you need 30 years, 30 million, ideally both. Pick one.
Sounds
Either $30
good.
million or 30 years.
Is your phone actually on the can?
My phone number is on the can. Yes.
If you're listening at home, has that created anything absurd?
I've gotten a lot of funny calls.
Yeah.
This last week, we had someone who the can was like at the back of their fridge where the cold air comes out.
Yeah.
And I guess it exploded. So he called and he was irate. He was so mad. He was like, I pulled your can out. There's something wrong with it. And I was explaining to him, like, what? I mean, yes, it's under pressure. It's carbonated, but I think this is probably your problem.
Yeah.
By the end of the call, we got him a free case. No big deal.
Oh, so funny.
I had people call and say, hey, I was addicted to Diet Coke and now I'm addicted to your product. Those are the best calls.
Those are the good ones.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Great.
I love that.
It's fun.
Nice. All right. Well, switching gears here. Stop 3.
All right.
I'm gonna play a game called the Hot Box.
Okay, great.
You ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Cold plunge or hot tub?
Cold plunge.
Wow, sicko. Beach house or ski house?
Beach house.
Okay. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunrise.
Psychopath. You got cold plunge, coffee, and sunrise. All right, good for
I
you.
love being awake.
Right. You should have started a coffee brand then. DTC or D2C?
Ooh, I usually say D2C.
Okay. Neat or messy?
I am very clean, but very messy.
Okay, we'll allow that answer. You're supposed to pick one. That's
Yeah,
like
messy.
the whole point of the
Messy.
game. Corgi or golden retriever?
Retriever.
Tennis or golf?
Ooh, golf narrowly.
Okay, got it. Pineapple pizza or candy corn?
Neither.
Neither?
If I had to pick, pineapple pizza.
All right. Live music or a DJ?
Live music, ideally outside.
Yeah, you strike me as a live music guy. Sweet snacks or salty snacks?
Salty snacks.
Salty snacks. Any you're excited about here?
Ooh.
Yeah, I haven't taken a lap yet.
Yes, I had an Indian food product called Chutney Punch.
Oh,
It's a great name and it was delicious.
sounds dang.
Yeah.
I love that. Call or text?
I smile and dial all day.
Yeah. All right. Well, pretty much everyone said text so far. Reading or writing?
Oh, writing.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Damn, good for you. I aspire to get there. Work remote or work on site? I guess it's distributed, right?
Yeah, I work remote, but I guess you could say I work in stores a lot too. So I guess I'll say remote.
Okay. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, or TikTok? I have one.
Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn, or TikTok. Gosh, it's tough. So I can't download TikTok.
Yeah,
But-
I don't have it on my phone.
I don't either.
Yeah.
But Maddie does a service and
Gotcha.
curates, and I feel like once a week I check in and see.
She favors.
Yeah. So if you have a roommate or
My
a
fiance
spouse
does the
or a girlfriend or
same
fiance,
thing.
it's like a service. I feel like I have to pay her for it. Like, thank you for curating TikTok for me.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
All right, dancing or people watching?
Dancing, people watching, Yeah.
Okay. Cocktails or beers?
cocktails.
Give up bread or give up cheese for life?
I love bread. I'm a big bread
Get
guy.
rid of cheese?
Have to get rid of cheese.
Cheese is
Sadly,
gone.
there's a lot of good nut-based cheese. Does that count?
True. That's in play. You can have that.
Okay, great.
You can have that. That's fair. But there's also I don't know.
No, I don't believe the opposite.
All
of
right,
that.
fine.
You ever had a croissant? That was not. No, that's a ridiculous. No way. No way.
Board games or video games?
Board games.
$50 on red or black?
Red.
Start early or leave late?
Start early.
Fiction or nonfiction?
I hate that I'm going to give this answer. I was a fiction kid,
I love fiction.
and I've become a nonfiction person.
Really?
It's so annoying.
Damn. Probably helpful.
Yeah.
Playlists or podcasts?
Podcasts.
Speak to animals or speak 10 languages?
Whoa. Okay.
It's called the hot box.
I know. That's a great one. That's the best one so far. I love that one. I don't normally like pets,
Yeah.
but I married a woman that loves dogs, so we have a dog that I now love, and I think it'd be cool to talk to the dog.
Yeah. I always picture it. I still this question a lot now. Just like have it in an aquarium. You're like, "What's up, guys?"
Oh,
like,
Nemo. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
How you swimming
Everyone's
in there?
just, like debriefing on their day.
That one's kind of villainous to me. They're gonna be like, "What do you mean we're in a 3-foot tank? How do you think we're doing?"
All right. Well, maybe I'll
Yeah.
end up releasing them
There
because
we
I
go.
could listen to
Maybe
them.
my dog will say the same thing. You feed me the same thing every day of my life. I don't want to know that.
Do you feed your dog or do you give your dog or
I've never given the dog sparkling water.
Is that bad?
I don't know. I guess I should try, but
There's no citric acid. It's like
No.
part of your shtick.
there's no citric acid. She might like flavored water, but I've never talked to her. I've never asked.
That would be a whole category.
Flavored dog water.
Want to quit our jobs?
There we go.
Bro?
That's a great idea.
Dude,
That's a
people
good
love
idea.
their pets. That
Yeah.
category's on fire. Oh my god. Okay. Wrapping up here. Telepathy or teleportation?
Teleportation.
Trucks or billboards?
Trucks.
Good news or bad news first?
I usually say, here's the good news, here's the bad news, with that intonation. Here's the good news, here's the
All right.
bad news.
Well, the bad news is we're at the end.
Oh,
of our last
nice.
stop.
That was a great setup.
Thanks, dude.
That was awesome.
Appreciate it. Paul, this is a lot of fun. Thanks so much for hopping on with me.
Thank you for
I want
having
to
me.
give you a chance to plug yourself, plug Ora Bora.
Sure.
Where can people learn more, connect with you? Where can people find Ora Bora on shelf?
Cool. I'm really easy to reach. Paul@orabor.com is my email. You can find us on shelf. A bunch of places. Our store locator is at orabor.com. If you shop Fresh Direct or Thrive Market, that's where you can find us online, as well as Amazon and our own website for our limited time flavors. Follow us on Instagram. That's all I have to say.
Yeah. If you want to text them, it's on the back of the can.
There you go.